running in your availability zone, right? So just consider a scenario where you have your, say like you have the AWS region, right? So in that region, you have what? What will be there in that region? Your VPC?
Tasks.
VPC? That VPC will have what? Availability zones. You are simply reaching to instance so fast. Okay, so now it's now time for instance as well. So now you have your EC2 instance. Okay. Okay. So you have the requests coming from, say like internet, right? Okay. So just think like a situation where you have your AWS region. Okay. Now you have your VPC. So your VPC, then your availability zone, correct? In that availability zone, you have your EC2, right? Now that EC2, right, is there. So just tell me, like this, you are running your infrastructure, right? So users are reaching out to the internet, right? Right. So users are reaching out to internet, right? And you are from internet. The request is coming to your VPC to your availability zone. The request is coming to your EC2. Okay, just think of that situation, right? What kind of challenge do you see here? Any challenge?
Firewall can be.
No, everything is there, firewall and all, everything is there. Any the only thing I want to emphasize here is I have only one EC2 instance on which our very critical application is running, right? So just emphasizing on that.
What if the availability zone is down?
Yeah. So what if this instance is down?
Correct.
Or availability zone is down?
Instance.
Yeah. Here in this case, like if instance is down, right? So you have to create another instance, right?
Yes.
If availability zone is down, right? Then another bigger issue, right?
Yes.
So what can be the solution? We'll have downtime, right? What we can do, right? What you will do by say like you have this kind of you have seen anything like that in your traditional environment?
There should be replica of availability zone.
So disaster recovery, is this a disaster recovery scenario? I mean,
you can
if
think
you,
of, but no, at least like
if your EC2 instance goes down, so I can in a practical situation I can manage it in two ways. One is if my EC2 is handling a particular application, then I would ensure that that server is scaled enough so that I have multiple servers to manage that application. And if one goes down, the traffic will be routed through other server.
Okay, so you mean to say you should have one more server, right?
Yeah, depending on the
Okay.
load and the traffic, my architecture would be
Okay.
would give me the number of the servers I would need for a particular application. So that
Okay.
uh, so that is one, and then I would load. I would ensure that the traffic is evenly balanced, and if one goes down, it would be picked up from the other
Okay.
using the other
Perfect.
instance.
Or I can
Perfect.
set up a cluster and then I can set up, replicate the same databases under the cluster and then ensure that, through load balancing, one comes up if, at least one is there available in the cluster.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So in any case, like Buddha as well as Shweta both have talked about load balancing, right? So in every situation, you have talked about load balancing, right? So if there is no load balancing, right, and the no setup is like just like this only, right? So then what is the solution? This machine goes down. What will you do?
Then I lose the instance, and the solution would be either to have the similar instance on a different availability zone, so that
Hmm,
it
how?
covers.
How you can achieve that? What will you do?
rsync या कुछ I mean,
No. What is this? Yeah, correct. Making sense. Now going in a right direction towards the solution, right?
Yes.
So we have some AMI for this instance, right? Some golden copy of the AMI that we have taken, correct?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
mm,
So
But then that would not
no,
reduce the
no.
downtime, right? I mean, it will still incur a
yes,
downtime.
Yes, it won't
yes,
be.
yes. So that is the point there we are coming to. Now we have the AMI available, right? And this that is the challenge. So downtime is the challenge here, right? So you do whatever, right? So without having a downtime, you cannot no achieve it. You have a single instance, right? Right, and many places I have seen such situation, right, where one application is running on one machine, right, and they say that this is critical and nothing is there to resolve that, mitigate that situation. So now that downtime is crucial, mandatory only. If you have one instance like this, whatever way you find out, you just have one golden copy of AMI, you just know make some kind of alarm, you go for whatever kind of auto scaling, you do whatever. But if you have one instance, right, if you have some AMI, you have to launch another instance, similar instance from AMI. So there will be downtime. So if you have to think about the high availability, if you want to think about the fault tolerance, so the load balancer is the solution here, right? So the request from the internet, right? How will it happen then in that case?
So the load balancer will sit in front in front of the
Correct.
just before the firewall.
Yeah. So we'll have load balancer right here. The request is coming, right? And then you have the load balancer here, right? That load balancer, right? So just think that this is a load balancer and the request is coming to the load balancer and it is sending one request here and you have another availability zone, right? Here, right? So say like this is say like this is availability zone 2 and this is 1. You have one say like some EC2 here, right? And then the another request is coming here, right? So just think of this situation as you told, right? So if this EC2 is down in the or the entire availability zone is down, right, still your services will be accessible, right? Right. So this is just to emphasize on the benefit of load balancer, right? So this is something very
This
basic
solution
that I,
that you are saying, ELB, where we are also getting that same thing set up on another availabilities on, this serves both high availability and disaster recovery as well. Even the availability zone is down, then we have another. No, but that is region. Sorry, that's regional. DR is regional, right? If one region is down.
This is like, yeah, so this is what you need to understand here, right? So let's talk about DR later. So as of now, this is your basic production, right? The setup where you have your instance running here, right? One or two or three, you have one or two or three instances running there, right? So this is the very basic setup, not DR.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so this is the way you have designed your production environment, right? Where you have right? See, everything is down. Then in that case, we think of the DR, right? So first of all, it should not be, it should not go to DR only. So our setup should be, like that, where we should have the high availability, right? We should have the fault tolerance, right? So we have to design in that aspect. Getting it?
In
This
this situation, Harish,
yeah, Rahul.
sorry, I just want to ask you here, in this situation, we have to create the same instance in some other availability zones also for that, right?
Yes.
So if the availability zones one will goes down or instance will goes down in one availability zone one, in that situation we have some backup things in some other availability zone, so that we can continuously use our instances, right?
Correct. You understood it correctly.
Okay, Harish, yeah.
Right. So this is what is the benefit of load balancing, right? So this is the basic thing, right? Basic understanding of the load balancer, the need of load balancer, right? Where, right, you need to distribute your traffic, right, across the number of instances, right, across the number of servers. So, and that also in different availability zone, right? So here, by looking at it, you can understand that this is a service where you have different availability zones, right? And you have multiple availability zones, and it is distributing the traffic across the different availability zones, right? So something which is distributing the traffic across the availability zones means what? That is a
Load balancer.
Regional service, right? That is load
Yes.
balancing.
Okay. Yeah,
that is a regional service, right?
Yes.
So
it's
what
a regional device, right?
Correct. One question here now.
Why regional? It can be within AZs there can be multiple AZs within a region as well, right?
That's what I told. That's why it is regional, no?
So that's what
Regional
in written in
regional.
green. So in one region you have multiple availability zones.
Right. Yeah.
So Harish, one question.
ELB can be, we can set up in the same availability zone as well, two instances and then use ELB, or it has to be two different availability zones.
See, will it make any sense to create like that? Having
so
one.
in that case, EC2 down hota hai and AZ is up, then still it is okay. If AZ is down only, then it would not make sense.
See, there are different solutions. Say like if your one instance is you can run multiple instances, right? So in that case, if one instance is going down or two instances going down, right? So you can have a number of instances running, and right, as and when you can configure auto scaling, right? And then as and when one instance is going down, it will be taken care. Minimum and maximum you can specify. So we'll be discussing on auto scaling, so you will have more clarity on that, right? So how it is going to be beneficial when it is across the different availability zones, right? And how the entire availability zone is down, then it is going to be useful to us, right?
Yeah,
so,
but just to understand, ELB we set up only with different availability zones, instances in different availability zones.
Yeah, that is the standard purpose. That is the standard use of load balancer, right? Otherwise, just putting different instances, right, in the same availability zone will not make much sense. What do you say?
So, as a feature of ELB, I mean, that is what I want to understand. I understand your point. Having it in different AZ gives
Yeah.
it more, reliability. But then, but then, if I want to use ELB for some reason, I want to set up that everything is in one availability zone, and I just want to use ELB for load balancing between two EC2 instances. Is that a feature of ELB, or it has to be different availability zone?
I have not seen done like that, but we can definitely explore. Just now, after this, we'll look at it, right? So
Okay.
we'll see if we can configure two EC2 instances in the same zone, and say like if one is down, it can go. So like theoretically, right? There should not be any impact or issue or challenges or no they want to block it up, right? There should not be something like that, right? But theoretically we can do it, so there should not be any issue. We'll see, we'll explore it very soon. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So so practically no so in the production setup we go like this, right? So but there should not be any challenge in configuring two EC2 instances and no trying to route the traffic on this instance or that instance, right? So we can see that with classic ELB. So we have different types of elastic load balancer, right? So mostly nowadays we are using ALB or NLB, right? So we have say like classic load balancer, which is the default, the original one, right? So that came initially, during 2009 or something. So that was like, from the very beginning. So later we got ALB and NLB.
Harish, can I have one question here quickly?
Yeah. Tell me.
Can you please go back to that paint things?
Okay. Yes.
If I'll talk about this availability zone 1 and this instance, okay, whatever is available in availability zone 1, all right.
Yes.
So like you said that time when we are creating AMI and all these things. So suppose this EC2 is down now. When it was running perfectly, we have taken out one AMI for this one. All right. So is this possible by using that AMI, because we have already taken the AMI for this particular instance? All right. So is this possible that we can use that AMI in some other availability zone to make the same instance running? Is this
Yes,
possible,
that's
right?
what we will be doing. That's what we will be doing.
Because yeah, so it is possible. Okay, that's what
Not only possible, that is what is used actually. See,
okay,
that is what is the practice, that is what is done, right? And that is done automatically. So
that's what I want to confirm with you,
yeah,
because
yes.
I just want
I'll
to
be
confirm
explaining this very soon, Rahul.
Because what I want to confirm is Harish, because
Yeah.
what I thought is that if this instance will goes down in that availability zones, it doesn't mean that AMI will also goes down, right? It will be available, so you have to take it out in some other availability zone for the further access and all these things.
You're
Right?
thinking in very right direction, actually, right? So
That's
thinking in
what
very right direction, right? So what you need to understand here, you are going in a very right direction and thinking very logically, right? So what happens? This load balancer is there, right? So it will be regularly checking that instance is up or down, right? Say like this instance is down or that instance is down, right? So if it is checking, if it finds that at any point of time that one particular instance is down,
yeah.
okay, so what it will do, it will
Check.
what it should do, it should handle it, right?
Yeah, correct.
So as soon as it finds that there is some problem with one particular instance, right, so it will make it as this is bad, right? It will stop sending the request only.
Yeah.
Understood? Now,
Got it.
now what next? Now you are in a risk.
Correct. Somehow we have to do manage our that instance somehow.
Yes.
So okay. So
what we should do then in that case?
That we will take out this this AMI, whatever image we have created for that
Yes.
instance.
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
we will store it to some other regions.
Yes.
Some other availability zones, so that
Correct.
our like server will be active and it will be
Perfect.
available for the users to handle and all, right?
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, so if we try to do it manually, right, every time, it will be difficult for us, right? Our life will be tough, right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
for that purpose, we have automatic option for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
we'll be looking at it, right? So what happens, it will just see that, okay, this is down, right? There is some problem, it is not responding, or disk is failed, or something in there, status check is not proper, something wrong with one instance, right?
Yeah.
So now what will happen, you will have
It will.
different EC2 instance where it can send the request, right? So say like it can send to this, you have two, right? You have say like here some instance which is working, right, which is good, so it can send on that, right? What it will do, as soon as it finds that, okay, something is wrong with one particular instance, it will notify the auto scaling about it. So that's what we will be going to the next topic, that will be auto scaling. You know scaling,
So
right?
Yeah.
so
Right.
Yeah.
Harish, I have a question. Auto scaling is all good in terms of the instances. So when there is a problem, actual problem with the instance. However,
Mhm.
if the load balancer finds an instance to be down, it can be also due to a network issue,
Due
like
to any
probably
issue, if it is not
uh,
reachable, right?
right.
Right?
So
Yeah.
so if it's a network issue,
Yeah.
will auto scaling going to help, like having another instance and getting an AMI applied, bring up another instance with the AMI.
This will discard the
So,
entire availability zone only then. See, if that
okay,
AG
okay.
is not available, right,
Hmm.
that will be discarded. So you have a situation to handle that, right? So you have availability zone 3, right? So you can no spin instances there only then in that case. You can handle
Okay.
however you wish. Everything is possible. The only thing is we need to try. There can be hundreds of use cases. Only thing is we need to think of a situation and we have to mitigate it. That's it, right? So there can be n number of situations. So that is a very logical situation where the entire availability zone itself is not available, it is down only, right? So what next? So you can handle that situation in a way, right, where you want more instances running in this instance, this is availability zone only, or you can handle it by running spinning more instances in third availability zone, right? So you can define it, you can handle it, right? You can manage with the help of auto scaling only. It will auto scaling is, right, very useful. It works with very closely with this, right? And then it will be doing, right, it will terminate, it will remove it, it will create somewhere, so we can define all those options, right? So Rahul, you got it, got the point,
Yeah, Haris, I got it.
right? So this and this load balancer, whatever you are seeing, right, this you are looking as one load balancer or something, right? So internally you have to understand that it is fully managed. This load balancer, right, this is fully managed by AWS, right? So it is fault tolerant, right? It is scalable, right? And it is having feature of self-healing also. So what you have to understand here, this is looking like you are creating one load balancer and it looks like you are having one load balancer. However, what you have to understand is there are many looking one to you, right? So there are many, right? Fault tolerant, right? You don't have to think about it. They will be managing it. If one is bad, it will another will be there, right? So it will be continuously doing its duty. So you don't have to worry about it, right? So as I told, like there was like originally, like with AWS came classic load balancer, CLB. So there are options for load balancer. Now they are trying to take it away. So this is they are no longer doing good thing about it. That CLB, they are trying to decommission it slowly. So that's what I have noticed. So now they have even marked this CLB, classic load balancer, as previous generation, right? So this is the original one, classic load balancer. So what happens? We just create the load balancer, the classic load balancer, right? We define the port, right? So let me show you the
So there is
types.
Yeah,
Please.
one load balancer for one instance, or one load balancer can handle multiple instances?
No, why one instance? Why
I
load balancer for one instance? This is just an example where you have you can first you see the types of load balancer and how it works with instance or group of instances. Once you understand, then you ask. Okay. So let's take a look at how it works, right? Then you will have better understanding, right? So just give me an opportunity to explain first. Once I explain, right? So then you
Sure.
yeah, then you just ask what you have understood and what you have not understood. So just see here, you have three choices. Classic load balancer provides basic load balancing across multiple EC2 instances, right? So now this is some kind of classic load balancer, right? So now you have application load balancer, best suited for load balancing of HTTP and HTTPS traffic. Network load balancer, best suited for load balancing of TCP, UDP, TLS traffic, where extreme performance is required. So you have choices for three load balancers, right? If you just take a look, right, on a load balancer, right, how that classic load balancer works, right? So you have internet, right? From internet, you have the ELB. Just consider this as a classic load balancer, right? So you just define a port on which it will be listening. Say like port number 443 for secure and port number 80 for say like HTTP request, right? So you just define a port, right? And then you have the EC2 instances, right? So you have the EC2 instances, you just have two EC2 instances, and you are registering the instances, and you are defining some kind of forward port on which these EC2 instances will be listening to, right? There will be some application, right? So that application will be listening on some port that we call as say like forward port, say like I just configure as 8080, right? So some basic thing you can do here with this classic ELB, right? So say like now you have another choice that you call as ALB. What is that? ALB. What is A? A means
Application.
application.
It's a load balancer. Yeah.
Application load balancer. So there in ALB, say like the request is coming, say like from internet, right? The request is coming to your ALB, right? And here in this case, you just see what you were asking. Just understand that you have no group of EC2 instances. And it's not like one EC2 instance in one availability zone or another instance or something like that. So just see the practically how it works, right? You will have group of instances, right? So you will have multiple instances running there, right? Now this you call as target group, right? So this you call as target group. So say like you have multiple target groups. So you have this target group, this target group. In that target groups, you have multiple instances. It's not like one instance or something, right, where your traffic will be coming. So you just create ALB, you just define listener port, right? So say like you are defining port 80 or port 443, right, for say like HTTP or HTTPS, right? So that will be your listener port. You have the target group, right? And then here it will work based on certain rules. Okay. So there is a concept of content filtering here. Content filtering, right? So what happens? This will be based on certain URL is there. So if your request is coming for a certain one particular host, it should go to this target group. If request is coming for one particular URI, it should S3 you saw no URI S3:/ something like that. So if it is coming for some particular URI, it should come to this particular target group, right? So we'll see practically how it goes, right? So no, you will have certain rules mentioned. In that rule, it will be kind of filtering the content where it should go. It should go to this target group or that target group. It should be routed to one particular target, right? So like this, this feature is there. So the benefit is there in the case of classic ELB, classic load balancer, right? You had a fixed port. For this forward port was there, one system is there where you are having fixed port. Your application will be listening to one particular port, right? That will be fixed. So you will be having one system, one on which will be running on no certain port, certain service. That service will be listening on a particular port that you are defining, right? But in this case, right, in case of application load balancer, you have dynamic port mapping. So by dynamic port mapping, what do you mean? What is the benefit? You can run multiple applications, right, on instance, right? So one EC2, right, can receive, no, can listen on multiple ports, not on one port. It can listen on multiple ports. So multiple applications can run on one particular EC2 machine, right? So it's not necessary to run only one application. So in that case of CLB, it is limited, right? So you can run multiple processes, right? Multiple processes on one particular machine, right? And each process may be listening on a separate port. Getting it? So it will be receiving requests, right, on different ports. Different ports, same machine, right? Listening on different ports and receiving multiple requests, handling multiple requests. So that is the benefit of this application load balancer. Getting it? So what is the benefit in one word? The utilization of the machine. Right or wrong?
Yes.
Correct? No. So the utilization will be more, right?
Right.
So you can have kind of some based on the host, right? Based on certain URI, that uniform resource identifier or certain path, right? Routing based on certain HTTP headers you might have heard about, right? So multiple benefits are there as compared to CLB, right? So it will be like you will be learning about lambda functions, right? So it will be supporting the lambda functions also. It will be kind of whatever request is coming, you can customize it and return it back, right? So various additional features are there as compared to the basic load balancer, right? So nowadays this is in good use when it comes to using a load balancer for HTTP and HTTPS, right? So now you have another option, one more option, that is called NLB. Okay, so there is another option called NLB, that is network load balancer, right?
Yeah.
So in network load balancer also, what happens, you have internet, right? And from internet you have the connectivity to NLB, right? Here also you'll have various target groups, right? So here also you have target groups. In that you have various instances running, right? So lot of EC2 instances running here. Another target group is having some other EC2 instances running. Here also you define some listener port, right? And then what you do, some forward port you define, right? Now the benefit here is, right, static IP address. So one place we have seen where static IP address was used was NAT gateway. Another thing is we are using static IP address for NLB, right? So this is static. There in case of ALB and other CLB, we are using dynamic IP only. So if it is public facing, it will be using that public IP, right? But if it is like internal, we can use internal normal IP. But here we are using a static IP. There is no concept of tension for that name resolution here, right? And so because of that, what happens, right? It's easy, right, to whitelist in firewall, right? You don't have to write a program or something to every time modify that firewall settings, right, based on the IP is changing, right? So you don't have to do that. So firewall rules, right, that will be static here, right? So by that it will be better, and it's good for it's very much optimized for actually the applications which are meant for running very long, maybe for months, right? So continuously you want to continue with the session, right? You don't want to lose that. This will be running on layer 4. So if you get a chance, right, so that the ALB would be on layer 7, right? So if you get a chance, whenever you go through a OSI model, no, you have seen anybody aware of OSI model?
Yeah, Haris, I know that.
OSI, right? So that is good. So if you just go through OSI, the basics of OSI model, right? And based on that OSI model, just try to relate that how it is working on layer 4 and the other one is working on layer 7, right? So you can understand that how it is supporting that TCP and TLS, right? And in case so here you won't have that content filtering, right? What is supported there with ALB, where you are having that CLB and ELB both will be working on layer 7, right? So there it will be like HTTP, HTTPS and all. So there you will have content filtering. Here you don't have content filtering. Getting it? So it's good that you are aware of that OSI. So others also you might have.
There is this CLB, okay, and other was
ALB.
ELB that works in layer 7. That is
7,
application
7,
layer,
yeah,
right?
yeah. 7.
Application layer.
Yep.
And layer 4, that is transport layer. Transport layer works in this NLB, right?
What is layer 4? You are telling. What is layer 4? Network layer?
Layer 4.
Network
transport layer.
No, network.
No.
Who told
Network
you?
layer is third.
What is
First
that
one is
you are telling?
Layer 4
physical
is
layer is the first one. Physical layer is the first one, right? That second one is the this one data link layer. Third one is network layer. Fourth one is this one transport layer. Fifth one is session layer. Sixth one is presentation layer, and the last one is application layer.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So the layer 4 means
transport layer.
the transport layer. Okay,
correct.
Perfect. So that layer 4 will be supporting what?
NLB.
Which protocol? Transport layer.
TCP.
TCP IP.
UDP भी हो सकता है, TCP.
UDP भी, yeah, you can go for UDP also. TCP, UDP be used as an alternative for TCP IP.
Okay, good. So good to see your confidence on OSI model. So perfect. That is so that is what is here. That is what we mean, that TCP, UDP, right? So these things will be supported here at layer 4, right? And TLS, right? So that will be supported here. And then what you talked about, layer 7 application layer, right?
Yeah.
So application layer, you can see like HTTP, right? And HTTPS and all will be supported there, right? Right? So
yes.
Content filtering because of that only. So application layer will have no, you can do that content filtering, but not in this one, right? This is, you can say this is a drawback or something. However, this is a benefit also. See the benefit, how it is beneficial, right? From the perspective of, no, you don't have to go for you are using that static IP here, and then you have optimized it for network, right? So that's the main benefit. And then that firewall thing that I talked about, right? So the firewall thing is something where you don't have to, in the firewall rules, you will have IP address, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
correct. Yeah.
So that IP address is static. So do you need to make changes to firewall?
No.
Please, right?
Yeah.
So if you have something you are looking for really very robust, load balancer where you have like billions of requests, right? Which one you will go for, and where you don't have much, you can do some kind of workaround, right, for that content filtering also, that I'm not covering here. But just understand that this is mainly for therefore, right? And for kind of use case would be some long running applications where you have millions of requests coming every second. Got it?
Yeah, Harish.
Okay, so we can take a look. That will give us a better clarity. So just let's go and see where it is, the options. Let's go to console.
Yeah, wait.
Everyone? Where should be load balancing? Who can tell?
Inside net security, I think.
network.
Network and security.
Networking.
Yeah. Yes.
It will be
Okay.
networking.
VPC will
Okay.
Here also you can go to.
Okay. Or we are dealing with EC2 as well, right here?
Yes.
we'll
Yes.
have that.
Load balancer we're creating for EC2, right?
Yeah, Harish.
Should be there also.
Right hand side, load balancer, dashboard only. Third one, right hand
On
side.
EC2 dashboard.
Here also you can get it, Harish. Resources, inside resources also. On dashboard only.
In AWS dashboard.
Yeah. Go to EC2.
Okay, I'm here. Oh, EC2 dashboard or
Yes.
AWS console?
See, no. Here also you can go to instance area. That dashboard.
Instance area you're telling. That means you're talking about EC2 dashboard.
See here, right hand side, third one, load balancer. On top of no, that side. Yeah.
Yep. So EC2 dashboard, right? Load balancer option from here you can see, or you can see here load balancing, right?
Yes, multiple options.
You see target groups also, right?
Yeah.
So practically you see this load balancer, right? We'll try to look at create a load balancer here. Okay, so as soon as you click on load balancer, you see this whatever I was talking about. Just take a look.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see here HTTP, HTTPS, TCP, TLS, UDP. So this is obviously at transport layer, right?
Yeah, Harish, right.
So this is what I was talking about, and then this previous generation HTTP, HTTPS, and TCP, right? So this is, they already mentioned as previous generation. Last month it was not mentioned like this, so they have mentioned it previous generation already. So choose a classic load balancer when you have existing application. So now they are making it obsolete. So to begin with, let's click on this HTTP, HTTPS, this application load balancer. Okay, so now we will explore, right, even the option, right, the basic things, right, with ALB, right? So just give some name, just say ALB1, right? Now, what is the meaning of internet facing and internal?
It will be outside. I mean, internet facing would be beyond the firewall.
Correct. Now, if you are looking for, say, like load balancer, if your all client machines, everything is there within your network, you can go for internal also, right? When it
Yeah.
is internal, right, it's not like in public segment, right? Nothing to deal with the external users and external no, requests. So that will be again internal IPv4 you can choose. So this is something internet facing, right? Now, a listener is a process that checks for connection requests. So listener port we were configuring, right? I was explaining to you that 80 or port 443, correct?
Yeah.
So just understand that this is a listener port on which this load balancer will be listening. So say like, for example, we are keeping it HTTP 80. You see the option for availability zones. You have option for only one availability zone, say like, you are simply choosing some availability zone, right? So, but the thing is, I should choose something where I will have my instance, right? Otherwise, I can't do any hands-on. So let me see at least where is my running instance.
I think 1B.
My
Yeah,
running
1B.
instance is
AP
1B
South.
AP South, but this is which one? Instance VPC default one. Okay, 1B. Okay, so here I see default one I have to choose. Okay, so 1B and 1A I say. Okay, choose at least where you have your instance, right?
I'm just looking at you, Harish.
Not doing it.
No, I will create it later. I'm just going after these things.
Okay, okay, then just
Because I do not want to miss anything.
okay, that's fine.
Harish,
Anybody else is doing it?
yeah, so Harish, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So I am getting a message while I'm creating. So it is saying I have selected the same region in
Okay.
which my instance is also running. That is US East 2B.
Okay.
And when I selected that as my availability zone and the default VPC, I'm getting a message that you are creating an internal load balancer, but there is an internet gateway attached to it, to the
So
subnets.
that means like whenever, see, if you are having two types of subnets, one is like which is public and another is private, right? So the private one is something, right, which will have access to the internet. Public one is something which will have access to internet. Private one is something which will not have access to internet. As and when you attach internet gateway to the VPC, you will have no the option for public subnet, right? So if it is attached that particular no internet gateway, you have added the route and you have the internet gateway, then how you can make internal thing, right? You have chosen internal, right? So you choose public
Correct.
facing.
So I need to check internet facing then.
You just make it, yeah, internet facing in the very beginning.
Yeah, I
That's
made
what
that.
I have also selected. That's why I have
Yeah.
not got. So I have chosen internet facing, right, for this demo,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
internet facing,
Yes.
not
It's
internal.
correct now. It's
Yeah.
clear.
Okay. So now I have chosen the default one because I have one of my instance here. I need another instance here as well to make it better, you know.
So even if you don't have that instance currently in South 1A, AP
Yeah.
South 1A, but you can still select it for the
Yeah, you can
purpose of.
select everything. Doesn't matter. See,
Okay.
if it is not there, then it is of no use, right? But you can select it, right? This is
Mm,
infrastructure that you're selecting, right? As of now, you're
okay.
defining the architecture, right? So you are having a broader concept like, you know, this, all these big things you are adding, right? At a later point of time, also you can add it, right? But instance you cannot add, right? You will not have instance only to add. Only one instance I will be having, so I can add only one instance, right? So you can continue like this. Add on services, right? So as of now, I'm just choosing 1A and 1B. Okay, 1A and
Yeah.
1B I'm choosing, not 1C. I'm just leaving it. So just for basic understanding, additional AWS services can be integrated with load balancer to launch this. So AWS Global Accelerator. right? So if you go for AWS Global Accelerator, right, you will have additional charges. Create an accelerator to get static IP addresses and improve the performance of and availability of your applications, right? Additional charges will be applied for it. But what is the benefit of that? Global accelerator. What it will do?
Fast.
Access from anywhere.
Performance fast.
Better performance.
Better
Right.
performance.
So wherever you are looking for some better performance, you have to pay additional cost.
Additional charges. Yeah.
Right? So that's it. Nothing more than that. But you need to understand what it is, right? Because no, at least term you should understand that. Okay, this is something, some kind of service where, right, we can improve the performance, right? Where I have some bad internet, slow internet, some kind of thing. So if I use this feature, right, so it will be optimizing, right, the path and making it faster for me. That's it. So that much understanding is needed. So your accelerator will be created with the following name that you can customize. Your accelerator is created by, you can manage it from Global Accelerator console, right? So you have options for that. Tags, you see, you can just mention some tag, or you can just, I will just skip it for now. Okay. So I'll say next, configure security settings. You see this, who is telling this? Who is this telling that?
Improve your load balancers.
Trusted advisor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that trusted advisor is telling, improve your load balancer security. What you're doing is not for production. You have used 80, right? You should use port 443 for listener. This is not secure, right? HTTP should be better. So that is what it is telling, right? So for now, like for this demo, I'm just choosing port number 80 and ignoring this, right? But for production, right, please go for port 443 and this HTTPS protocol, right, where you have to define the certificates, configure it, and then use it, right? So just now you just choose this, say configure security groups. Now you see the use of security group here, right? What it says, security group is a set of firewall rules and control the traffic to your load balancer. You see here, now this security group is something which will be attached to your load balancer. It is meant for your load balancer. So far you have been saying like EC2 instance only you have been configuring it, right? So now traffic to load balancer is also controlled, right? Because this is also a feature of EC2, right? You can add rules to allow specific traffic to your load balancer, decide whether to create a new security group or select existing one. So I say create new group. I say LB hyphen SZ, something, no? LB hyphen SZ, so load balancer security group. Now what rule I can put it here? Custom TCP TCP 80 custom something, right? So what does it mean?
Anyone, anywhere.
Port 80 only, right?
Yeah.
So you remember we had chosen port 80, so port 80 should be allowed, right?
Yes.
To the load balancer, right?
Correct.
This is for accessing the load balancer. So if you don't allow everyone, you are creating a public facing load balancer where if you are not allowing everyone, then what is the use?
Right.
Can be any use?
No.
So that's it. So just understand that this is something which is meant for public, so you have to allow. Now that's why it was telling, now it is not much secure because of no, anybody can access it over port number 80 only. So this is load balancer, whatever, let it be whatever description. So let me say configure routing. Now tell me what is the meaning of routing and what is the use of routing here? Your load balancer routes requests to targets.
Gets.
So we have seen that target with multiple EC2 instances in it. So we have some target group, right? So your load balancer routes requests to the targets in this target group using the protocol and port that you specify, and performs health checks on the targets using the health check settings. So you have to specify like some target group, like it says new target group. You see here, the load balancer will route requests to the targets in the target group by default. If you have an unused target group in the load balancer VPC, you can select it. Otherwise, you can create a new target group or use with this load balancer, right? For use with this load balancer. You can give some name, right? Up to 32 character, hyphens. It should not begin with hyphen. So you can give some name, target group. So I'll say target group 1 with HTTP. Okay.
Right.
Got it?
Yes.
Now, target type, I'm choosing instance. I'm not choosing IP or Lambda function. However, you see the choices. You have choices to choose IP. You can do the load balancing based on that IP or based on some Lambda function directly. So it will go, request will go to IP or Lambda function instead of instance, right? So that much capacity it is having, right? So it can go through IP or Lambda function as well. However, we are just doing it for instance, right? We are configuring the routing for our instance where target group we have defined. Now protocol is HTTP for us, port is 80 for us. Now it's giving us a choice for health check. So health check will happen over HTTP. Path means what? Destination path for health check, right? So it is slash. Slash means what?
Root.
Document root. Yeah. So that is like that root means what? Root of the website.
Yeah.
Right. So what is that root actually? You remember where www.html will have that will be mentioned in document root. In the httpd.conf file will be there when you are configuring the Apache web service. So there you will have entry for the document root. So by default it will be where www.html, where we kept our index.html, you remember?
Yes, Harish.
So that by default it will be pinging that index.html and checking whether it is available or not. That is only health check here. Got it? So it will be checking for the health check, advanced health check, where you have port, traffic port, override, healthy threshold, unhealthy threshold, timeout, interval, success codes. So all these options are there where you can choose the port. Load balancer uses when performing health checks on targets. The default is the port on which each target receives traffic from the load balancer. You can specify different port by choosing override, but we are not overriding. Default port only we are choosing, that 80 whatever. Healthy threshold and unhealthy threshold. What is unhealthy threshold? First you tell, then we'll look at healthy threshold. Unhealthy threshold means what? Number of
Failures.
Failures. Yeah.
Number of failures before considering it as unhealthy. So say like 2 times if it fails, if it is unable to reach, consider it as failed, or let it be 5 times at least you should try, right, before considering it as failed, right? So that will be unhealthy. Now if you look at healthy, once it becomes unhealthy, right, then comes the purpose of healthy threshold. It says number of consecutive health check successes required before considering an unhealthy target as healthy. So once it becomes unhealthy due to failures, right, after that how many times it should be successful to again treat it as a healthy?
Healthy.
Yeah. So again it has to go through, say like initially if it goes for say like 3 checks and it is like unhealthy. Now after that, if it is passing 5 times correctly, then only I'll consider it as healthy. So I can mention like that. Now timeout. What is timeout? Amount of time in seconds during which
No response.
no response means a failed health check, right? So that is timeout. Timeout means what? If it is not responding, right?
Correct.
For say like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, means failed, one failed.
Failed health check, yeah.
So I'll make it 10 seconds. If it doesn't respond for 10 seconds, then consider it as one failed attempt. Or if it is 5 seconds, then one failed attempt. Anyways, like I have 3, so I can reduce it to 5 only. That is better. So 5 seconds and then 3 times, right? It will check and then it will say unhealthy, and then 5 times it will check. If it is coming correct, then it will be healthy. Interval. So this is from 5 to 300 seconds, right? So it will be like 5 seconds to 5 minutes. The approximate amount of time between health checks of an individual target. So how frequently it should do a health check? Every 30 seconds, right? Or every 1 minute? How frequently you want it to be checking for the health? Now success code, there will be certain codes, right? For Apache, right? You can look for Apache or HTTPD or web service codes. There you will see like some 403, 404, 302, 303, 201, 201, like that it will come. So anything starting with 2 means good. So 200 usually will be taken as a code for
Success.
correct one. Yeah. So 200 means it's good. 200 means okay. So success code will be, say like we are mentioning 200 only. Now I say register targets. Now you see here, right? How do you register the targets? Here it's in the registered target, nothing is there. You see? Is there anything?
No, empty.
Empty. Now here you see instances to register additional instances. Select one or more running instances, specify a port, and then click add. The default port is the port specified for the target group. If the instance is already registered on the specified port, you must specify a different port.
You have to select instance.
Got it? So you just select this, right? And you say add to register. As soon as I clicked on add to register, you see here one listing came, right? Which is what? Red Hat Linux, this machine came. If I have more, I can add more, right? So as of now, I am not having one more, then I will, you can add later as well. So for now, you see that you have one instance added to the registered target, right? Right? And then if you just say review, you understood this one. If you want to remove, you can remove. This will be gone. So you have hundreds of machines here, right? So you can simply choose one and you can say add to registered, it will be added, right? So if you want to remove one by one, you can remove from here. So this is something which is adding to the registered target, right? Right. So you are registering that instance to that target, right? To deregistered instance, select and remove. Understood? So register target with your target group. If you registered a target in an enabled availability zone, so now it comes to whether you have enabled or not. See, I have not enabled. I have enabled only A and B so far. Now the load balancer starts routing requests to the targets as soon as the registration process completes and the target passes the initial health checks. Right? So understanding this or not? Everyone?
Yeah, getting it.
You're getting it. So you are registering this instance here as soon as you have registered, right? And that is in enabled availability zone, whatever you have enabled, right? It will start routing the request immediately. So you just click on review, right? Please review the load balancer details before continuing. So if you just see, look at it, port number 80, it will be, right? You just create it. You see successfully created load balancer ALB1 was successfully created. As I said, next steps, discover this. So now you have this created, it's provisioning, right? So you can see that as of now, the listeners 80 port is coming, right? Here you see the monitoring, some monitoring is getting started. Target response time, request. So all those features are coming. So default forwarding to TG1 HTTP. View edit rules. Add listener, additional listeners. If you want to add, say like HTTPS or something, you can add. You can modify that. Description, you see, it is still provisioning. You can do certain modifications here, edit IP address type, edit subnet. So here is the option where you can edit the subnet and add one more or remove something like that, right? So you have the option here, specify the availability zone to enable your load balancer. The load balancer routes traffic to the targets in these availability zones only. So Shweta, you can try like this, one time. Usually, no, I would not be exploring all these options every time, right? But you just try like this, Shweta. Shweta, you're there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here.
Just try like this. You just try to keep two machines, no, in one availability zone, and try like that. It should happen. That there's nothing should block it. Ideally, see, that is the purpose of load balancer is whatever is the main purpose, that will get satisfied. So it should work, right? So just try that, and maybe you can try once that CLB, the very basic one, right? At least for that, it will make some more sense, where there will be no that target group will not be there, that instance will be there. So just take two instances and just make some basic setup. Just try that one out. So here, say like 1 and 2 we are taking, and then no, I'm just cancelling it. Already 1 and 2 are there, A and B are there. So here you have option to modify it. You have option to edit the security group as well. So all those features are there. You just have to select that load balancer. You see here A record. Who will tell what is A record? What do you mean by A record? Anybody heard what is A record?
In terms of DNS, I think.
Yeah, that is DNS record. But what is that A record? A means very basic. A record is the most basic. See, you are just trying to browse google.com, right?
Yeah.
So what happens whenever you try to browse it, it will get converted into some IP, right? So it will go
Okay.
DNS for name resolution, right? It will get the IP because you will understand the name, and the system will understand the IP address, right? So that A record means, right, for doing the forward lookup, where whatever name you are giving, that will be converted into IP address.
IP address, okay.
Right. So name to IP address, that will be A record. It will be mentioned as A record. Okay, got it? Who didn't get? There are two types of lookups, DNS lookup, right?
Forward and backup.
Yeah, forward lookup and reverse lookup. Okay,
Yeah.
no worries. I will be covering that tomorrow, that DNS. Okay, no worries. So as of now, you just understand that this is something, this is there, and this will be converted to some IP address, right? So this is a record. This name is mentioned, right? And this name, if you just try internally, it will be having some IP addresses associated, right? So with this, you have to try to. This is the endpoint, you understand like that. This is the endpoint through which you will be accessing this particular service. So this ALB you will be accessing using this. This is the ARN of that service you can utilize for doing certain configuration changes from the command line or from the SDK, right? So you can use this. This will be good. And this one, something which is very important. Just remember this where it is. So just in under description, DNS name. This is the name, how you have been accessing your EC2 instance, right? There will be some public name, right? That only you understand. Okay, for now. So this is provisioning. This is internet facing. Just let me refresh if it is still provisioning. Active now it is. Okay. So this is active, right? And should be accessible on this particular address. Getting it? So port number 80. So it says bad gateway. What happened? Who can tell?
Unable to find the IP.
Unable to get this thing. It's not
URL, yeah, resource.
okay. So now where it is trying to go? Can anybody tell me?
So we didn't specify that URL.
This is
while
the
we have
URL, no? This is the URL.
no while creating
HTTP or
Is it the public URL that we are using?
Yes, this is public DNS and not accessible.
Okay, and we
Somewhere
have made
we have
it.
to receive.
It is only through certain port that we have opened it, or it's...
You remember port 80 in the security group we were
Yes.
allowing,
Yeah,
Yes,
Harish.
yes.
and in the NACL network ACL you have already seen that inbound, outbound, everything is allowed only, right, for default VPC.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
no problem from
access
NACL.
point
There is no problem
yeah.
from security group. Also, it should be accessible. Why it is
No,
not
so
accessible?
It's
so Harish,
HTTPS or HTTP? Yeah, okay.
Something we
HTTP.
have to. HTTP, yeah.
See, no HTTP.
We have given the permission.
yeah, so this
HTTP
is
permission we
HTTP,
have
which is
given
fine.
for port
So why
80.
it is not accessible?
Because while creating the load
IP.
balancer,
Mm-hmm.
there was an option to configure the path, the direct, the route,
No,
which
that
we
was
didn't
something
specify.
for health check, right, Buddha?
Okay.
See, that was for health check. It will be pinging that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, now so far, what is the purpose? That's what I want you to understand, that what is the purpose, what we have done and what we are trying to understand the context, right? So what is the context here? We are trying to access a service which should be there on our EC2 instance, right? That service we are trying to access over port number 80, right? So what will be available over port number 80? Some kind of service should be running, right, on port number 80, correct?
Yeah.
So on our EC2 instance, that service should be running, right? That's what we have been seeing so far. See, on our EC2 instance, how did we start discussing about ALB or any kind of load balancer? We started with one EC2 instance, right? And we say that from internet, right? What is happening? From internet, somebody is trying to access the EC2, correct? Right or wrong?
Yes.
Right.
So from there, somebody is trying, and if it is down or something, so we should have one load balancer. It should
Back,
go to
yeah.
load balancer, then it should come here. It should go to another EC2 like that, right? So, but at least if I don't have another one, at least I have one, right? So it should come here, and then it should come to my EC2, right?
Correct.
So why that is not happening? Understood, no? The requirement you understood. So now you have the internet and you have the load balancer, right? So, and the request is coming here, it's listening on port 80, and now load balancer is associated with my EC2, right, with whatever NACL or whatever security group or something. So earlier it was trying to access it directly, right?
Right.
That had some issue, so I said no, I don't want direct access. I want the benefit of my load balancer. So now I should have two instances. It should be routing the traffic. But now say like I'm not having this. At least I'm having this, right? So if it is coming here, it should come here, and my EC2 instance, whatever it should serve, and the request should go there, right?
Right.
So how do I troubleshoot? How do I troubleshoot? That is more important. So what is the context and how do we troubleshoot, right? So that is important here. So the context is more important here, right? So you need to start thinking in that aspect, right? That first of all, you have to make sure that without this ALB, your EC2 is accessible or not, correct?
Correct. It is accessible.
First step. So your EC2 should be accessible from the internet and it should be serving the purpose, right? And then we disable it, then we follow this approach, right? That should be the troubleshooting, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's start with that. First of all, let's access our EC2 directly from the internet. Then, right, access it through the load balancer, right? So that is the approach to troubleshoot and find out the solution. So this is the URL for the load balancer, right?
Hmm.
See this. This is ALB1, right? Whatever I have created, right here.
Yeah, it's right.
Now this is my load balancer. This is the DNS name of my load balancer. So it is not accessible. What do? I should try to find out my instance. Where is my instance? Whether it is all well on my instance or not. I need to know. So check my instance, right? Whether it is really listening on port number 80, whether it is serving any purpose or it is simply not doing anything. So if I just go to my instance, you see my instance here. So what is the public IP? This is the public IP of my instance, right? So I just go to putty. I just select that, right? You are also trying.
Yes.
Anybody trying? Please try. Please try to log into your instance. Where is my instance? Where is the tool? I think this is the PTK. Okay. So I'm just trying to save this as what is my instance actually? RH something. I just saved it. So I just try to open it. I just say yes. It says EC2 user. Okay, it has accepted the key. Okay. Now I am on my server and I am root. Now, what should I check? Who can tell?
Instance is running.
Instance is running. I have accessed it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Port
Which port?
80.
Port 80, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have port 80. It's not doing anything here.
Okay. So I
So
have to configure.
what is the
port 80.
process?
We have to configure something.
Port 80, nothing, nobody listening on port 80. So what exactly listens on port 80? Some service?
HTTP?
Yes.
Service HTTPD. Yeah.
Yes. So what is the command?
System CTL
Mm-hmm.
status,
Mm-hmm.
then HTTPD.
Oh, it is dead.
Yeah, it's dead. We have to start service, then start.
Okay.
Start HTTPD, and we have to see the status now.
Oh, it's
Now
running.
It's running now.
Now it's listening.
Yes.
That's great. So if I see that command that I was running, netstat command, what it says, it's listening, right?
Now it's listening. That time it was not.
Correct. So it's listening on this,
50.
right? Port number 80, it is listening, right? 1633. If you just see that PS command also, it should show you something. No, it's not showing. PS is not showing. This 80 netstat is showing you the port. PS will not show you the port actually. Got it? PS will show you the HTTP. Like this.
This is status.
Yeah. So it is running, right? Started with root and then it has taken with Apache, right? So now my Apache, my web service is running here, right? So that is what is important. So why it stopped? Because I did not enable it to start whenever my system starts. So system CTL, if I say is enabled HTTP service, so it says disabled. You see,
Disabled.
it is disabled. It's not enabled. So if I just say enable, if I just say enable, it says created symlink, right? And now if I just run is enabled, it says enabled. Now whenever my system starts, my OS starts, my website will also start. Okay, now next time whenever I try to access, right, this service will be available to me, right? Now when I have started this service, if I see this public DNS, right, my this name, this is name of my instance, right?
Yeah,
When I
correct.
try to access my instance, right, when I try to access my instance, now you see the website is running, right?
Yes.
Correct? So
Yes,
my
Harish.
instance, right, my instance, that website is running. Now this 502 bad gateway should also run, you see.
Yeah, press enter. Yeah, it's working.
So the problem was the
App
underlying service on the EC2 instance, right?
not enabled.
So now it is going through load balancer. Okay. See, earlier it was directly I was accessing my AWS instance. Now
Instance,
it is
yeah.
going through the load balancer. Now, how you will be testing it is you create one more instance, exactly the replica of it. You create one AMI, right, from the existing instance, and then you create another instance in another availability zone, right, and then you test this load balancer, and then you stop that instance, right, and then you test one more time. If it is working, that means your load balancer is setup is perfect. Got it? Am I making things clear or not for the load balancer?
Yeah, clear.
That's clear, Harish. It's clear.
Okay, so that is the purpose, and it is solving the purpose. So this much of hands-on if you do, so you will never forget, right, what is the purpose and how we do things with respect to various load balancers. So you just try some hands-on, right? How much you are
So
doing?
they can, so, but what I did not understand is the
Yeah,
difference, from the usability purpose on field between the network load balancer and this AP application
between
load balancer.
the
When we,
application load balancer and between the network load balancer and
yeah, network load balancer and this application load balancer. Suppose I have configured, I mean, the same IP I'm trying to, same URL I'm trying to reach through internet.
hmm,
Uh, but instead of application load balancer, I've configured a network load balancer. Okay.
hmm.
Now, if there is an EC2 instance that gets failed, how it changes our experience as an end
See,
user?
See, things are like how you are using T2 instance or T3 instance or kind of some different instance, some compute optimized, some network optimized, right? You are using, right? So like that, you have to understand that there are certain different types of optimization with the network load balancer, right? So this load balancer is functioning. That's what we were discussing. This is functioning on fourth layer, right? So because of that, what happens, it can handle much more request as compared to whatever is running at application layer. So that, Rahul, you can explain that the difference in the performance at application layer and the transport layer, which will have better performance, which can handle more requests. Rahul,
Yeah, Harish.
so can you try to explain the whether performance will be better at which layer? The higher you go, the performance will decrease or not?
Yeah, correct.
See, if it is a connection related, Shweta, if it is just connection related, just connection between two devices, at which layer it will be more robust and more reliable? Higher you go or lower you come?
Lower you come.
That's it. That is the main difference you have to understand, that it is at fourth layer, the NLB, and that ALB at seventh layer,
Seventh layer.
latency, right, will be very less, and millions of requests it can handle as compared to the ALB, where this is for very huge uh, thing where very mission critical and so much of IOPS is there. So if you have too much, if it is more latency critical, if it is more what you call IO per second, right? So and you are looking for something which is at TCP layer, and the connection is for longer, very long running connection. Possible, right? Sometimes you require some connection between applications, and you don't want to lose the connection very frequently. Like some request you are just maintaining for some time, and some request you are just connecting to something and you want to be connected forever. Possible? Right. So if you want a connection to be established and it should not lose the connection ever, right, you go for NLB, right? So these are some basic few things, but apart from that, they have done a lot to optimize the network. They have done a lot to optimize the network, right? And static IP is one of the reason where that static IP you cannot use with ALB. Got it? So that static IP you can only use with NLB, right? And because of that, the maintenance and use of that firewall, that is the best, right? So you don't have to use any external script or something to change the firewall rules where every time your IP address is changing or something. So you don't require additional burden. So it will be definitely faster and more reliable, right? So it will be working at that TCP, UDP, and all. This one is, you see, it is working at HTTP and HTTPS level only, right? So that's what we have to understand. Remaining things with respect to target group and all those things will be same only. So more you try to test it, more exposure you will get. So how we have tested that ALB, like that you do some hands-on, right, on NLB as well, right? So you just try out doing one hands-on, right?
So basically what ALB does is, or ALB or NLB, any load balancer does is just shifting the load when one of the if the servers are down. Suppose it's the same EC2 hosting an application in an availability zone, okay? And then we have to create it's not the load balancer who does it. We create a replica through the AMI into on a different availability zone. And we keep it, and we configure it and with the load balancer.
You got it right.
Now when someone is accessing that application, it will be through a primary EC2. It will switch over to any secondary only once primary goes down. Is that so?
It's not like that. It's like how you are configuring it, right? It depends on that, right? It can be while you just try to configure that network load balancer, right? So you will have understanding what is the main purpose. Based on that, you can take care of it. Say like sometimes now we'll be looking at databases and we'll look at the read replica, right? So we'll have understanding of that, right? So how things can be routed, because I told you that it will be based on the rules. So you just missed that point actually. So it will be based on the route, how it is routed. So you can mention that rule, right? So which request is going where? It's not like it is going, it's like you are talking about CLB. So that is very basic now, getting outdated only. So if you go to ALB.
No, my problem is I'm not understanding that there are C2C, if I have 2 EC2 or probably 3 EC2 instances, which is for the same application. I mean, are they, is it like the other two are redundant till the time the first one goes down, or it is being used all the time, all the three are keeping all the same data, and it's, it's like a same copy and just load balanced?
No, see, understand whatever your question was there. So the answer is no to that, right? So it's not true. Whatever you told, right? It will be like one will be used and no other will not be used. So the answer is in one word. The answer is no. Now, how you can find out the answer? You have to try to understand the rules that I was talking about, the listener rules for your application load balancer, right? Or for your network load balancer, right? So there I told you that there will be rules, right? And that rule, if I take up, it will be for next 10 hours, I can go on with the rules only. So that much vast it is. So what I can tell you here, you just go and try to understand that there are different types of rules and different types of actions, right? Whenever it comes to the load balancer, right, how it is going to handle that will be defined by the rule. Okay, so the basic understanding what I can tell you, right, whether it comes to load balancer, what it should do with that, whether it should forward to a target group 1 or to target group 2, or it should give certain fixed response without even coming to EC2. It should say something that, okay, at the main gate somebody there and you are in the home and you have instructed that guard to say that no, you are not there. So that is also possible. So whatever you wish, whatever kind of rules you are mentioning there, so it will be taking action based on that. So you can add a rule, you can simply use whatever kind of regular expressions, you can mention that this kind of request or similar to that request or anything, any request which is having this particular word, or this is that particular source it is coming from, or it is going to that particular name it is mentioned there. So whatever wish, you defined very complicated rules, right? And based on that, the request will be going, right, from this host to that host, from this target group to that target group. It's not like one system is idle, one system is getting used, another system is idle, and there is no use of it until and unless one system dies. Then that is how it is fault tolerant, and how it is.
I'm just thinking about the data, that is holding. How is it going to be same on all these systems? Is it replicating all the time?
That is going to be same on all the systems, right? Or different. Based on that only you will be defining the rule, right? Okay. So the next topic to discuss is auto scaling. Now, what I wanted to highlight here is there are 3 services, right? How many? 3 services, right? Which make sure that you have enough compute capacity, right? You have enough compute capacity, right, available, right, for your applications to run, right? Can you name them? Understood the question? Question is, there are at least 3 services which make sure that you have enough compute power always available for the applications that are running in AWS.
CPU?
No, services.
Oh, services.
CPU, this only CPU. Enough CPU is available or enough memory is available, so that will be compute. So enough systems are available, enough instances are available, right? So the services which will work together, right, and make sure that you never run out of the compute capacity.
So it would be part of monitoring, some monitoring,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes,
Cloud.
One is like CloudWatch, we can say.
CloudWatch, yeah, of course.
Right, this is very important, right? This will help us. Next, just now we discussed
CloudTrail.
CloudTrail is checking at the event history and all. That is definitely useful.
Load balancing?
Load balancer.
Yes. See, this load balancing is playing a very crucial role, right, in maintaining the compute resources, right? Now, what else?
Scaling.
Auto scaling, yeah, correct. So these 3 things are really very crucial, right? And these 3, so we have been discussing about these 2. This auto scaling, right, is the another most important thing, where we will have different instances, right, will be group together, and it will be called as auto scaling group. What it will be called as? Auto scaling group. So this auto scaling will make sure that minimum of say like 4 instances should always be available. Guarantee. Got it? So this will make sure that minimum of, right, 4 instances will always be available whatever happens, right? So you can define it, right? You can also define how many maximum up to it can go, because if it workload keeps on increasing, if it goes beyond your budget, that will be too much of thing, right? You don't want such a application which will make you bankrupt only. So you don't want maximum to go to 1000, right? So you want maximum say like 10. You can define that also. I want maximum 10. Beyond that, that means something wrong with my instance or something wrong. My systems are not usually running that much workload. I can't expect. It might be hacked and somebody might be running something else, right? So you never know. So I want maximum 10, minimum of 4, right? So you can just define it, right? So those kind of benefits you can get from the auto scaling, right? So you will have some concept like desired, right? Desired number, right? So what will happen in the desired number? This is the initial number. Say like you say that, say like you begin with 6 instances, right? Minimum is 4, maximum is 10. So usually, you know, people will have confusion with this desired number. So I'm not usually, you know, using it. I just leave it as it is, so that minimum is my default. So minimum is my desired. If I don't mention the desired, that means this minimum will be, it will begin with minimum. So desired means, say like whenever you are creating that auto scaling group, and if you mention as 6, so it will begin with 6. Initially, whatever time, first time, whenever it will be launched, right? So it will begin with 6 instances. Then based on the workload, it will go down to 4, or it can go to the maximum of 10, like that it will happen, right? So the desired compute capacity can also be scaled out. You can just change this. You can scale it out, right? Based on what? You also learned this CloudWatch, right? So alarm you have seen, no? That time we were seeing the action under alarm. You remember, everyone?
Yes. Yes.
So you will have some alarm, right? And under that alarm, right, there can be some action, right? So you can do scaling based on the alarm also. Some action can be taken, right? If you are mentioning that desired quantity, so the desired quantity will be maintained. However, right, it can go to minimum or maximum also. So we will see that know how we can do the auto scaling, right? So before we go there, I just wanted to divide the concept. If you can recall, what is horizontal scaling and what is vertical scaling? You remember?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Horizontal is the
Yes.
instances and vertical is the compute. I mean,
Uh,
horizontal is the number of instances.
hmm.
Increase the number of instances, and the vertical would be to scale up and scale down in terms of
Resources, compute
the
resources.
resources. That is what the compute
Okay,
resources,
okay.
memory, storage.
Correct, correct. That's right. So that in horizontal scaling, if we say that scaling out means addition of instances. Say like now this is 2 instances are there. If you're scaling out, so now you have 4 resources. So it has got stretched out, right? And now you got 4. Now scaling in, if you do scaling in, so it will be compressed. Now say like you reach to 2 only. So this is scaling in, this is scaling out. From here you scaled out, then from here you scaled in, right? So from lower number of resources, adding of the instances will be scaling out, right? So you are familiar with that, right? So what, and fault tolerance, you remember, right? What is fault tolerance, all of you?
Redundancy.
Fault tolerance is much more than redundancy.
Resilience. Yeah, resilience.
No, fault.
Resilience also not like that. Fault
High
tolerance is something more than high availability.
Yeah, fault
Durability.
tolerance is basically within a data center. If
auto
my,
recovery
I mean,
sort of thing. Yeah. If a
so
hardware
what would,
fails, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, within the same data center, what would be my capability to kind of ensure the availability of a particular instance or a
Correct.
particular virtual machine? Yeah.
That is
Correct.
durability, Harish, right?
See, durability, fault tolerance, resilience, high availability, redundancy, elasticity, scalability, all these terms might be looking similar, right, in nature, because all are positive terms, right, and all are something which is trying to, trying to make things better, right, with respect to the system's availability itself, right, or performance, right, or reliability, right. So various words are there. However, which word is suitable at what location, there will be thin line of difference between the terminologies, right. So I have made a list of all the definitions and kept in a directory, right. So at the end of session, right, I will be, giving that to the management, and you will receive email on that, right, on all those topics. So I, from my end, like I have made certain notes, I have made certain things which I will be sharing with you all. Okay, so there's no worries, right. Now, so now for now you understand that there is a concept of high availability, right? High availability. So here, as the name suggests, high availability means highly available, right? System will be available highly, may not be fully, but highly it will be available, even if there is a failure of a component, right? Say like you have two things and you have the high availability. Now this is not there, still your service is available. Got it? What will happen? The performance will reduce little bit, but still it is available, right? So still it is highly available. I can say that this is high availability. So my system, two systems were there earlier, both were working together, right? So I was getting some performance. Now, because one is no more there, I have only one system with which all the workload is getting handled. So obviously the performance will decrease. However, the service is available, right? Now, in that case, you have to say this is highly available. This is high availability. Now, if the performance does not decrease, this come up. As soon as this was down, next second this is up. Do you think any performance impact will happen?
It will if it's a critical application.
1 second, yeah.
Even
Correct,
for a
no?
millisecond, yeah.
So that's what. So now, if this goes and if it comes up, right? We say that it is a bit more than high availability, right? Correct? No. See, if nothing is there, then in that case, performance is impacted, right? Now it will take more time, right? So it's just like comparative terms where you have to be little bit, little bit of difference will be there. So what you have to understand here, say like for very little time, this one is not there, right? Or maybe you have many instances, right? You have many instances. So it's not like 100% all instances will be utilized, right? So when you have say like 100 instances here and 100 instances here, in that case, one instance goes down. Will it impact?
No.
Negligible, not at all, maybe, right? So it may or may not. So what happens is, when things are highly available, right? If we think about more than highly available, right? where performance may not degrade, right? No degradation of performance. Ideally, the perfect definition would be no degradation in performance. So if it is highly available and there is no degradation in performance, then we call it fault tolerant. Got it? So that is fault tolerance actually. So highly available without any degradation in the performance. So then we say fault tolerant. But all these things are like ideal, right? So nothing would be so robust and 100% perfect, right? So there will be a little bit of here or there. So sometimes we casually use the term, right? And we say that this is fault tolerant, right? Though it might impact the performance a little bit, right? So we say that, okay, it is fault tolerant, right? So this auto scaling, in terms of auto scaling, when we say, right, we say that this is fault tolerant, right? What do we say? This is fault tolerant. How it is fault tolerant? You have one instance, right? And you have the load balancer, and you have, say, like group of instances, right? And now, say, like you have a target group, right? So something is going bad, right? And it is getting replaced by auto scaling. If something is going bad, it is getting replaced by auto scaling. So what happens? The load balancer, it will stop sending the request, right? And what will happen? It will be updating the auto scaling, and then auto scaling will be replacing it with the another better new instance of exactly the same type that Rahul was looking for, right? So that will come from the template, that will come from AMI. So that AMI, we will add more things, right? More AMI plus more. So it was like snapshot, snapshot plus something more, that was AMI, right? And now this AMI plus more, that will be a template. Okay, so snapshot plus some more configuration, then it became AMI. In that we will add more configuration items, and then it will become a template. That template or the configuration thing, that will be used by auto scaling to launch this instance, right? So what kind of instance you are looking for, right? Exactly the same one or something else. So all those things will be taken care of. So we say that this is fault. Yeah, tell me.
Sorry, is there a definition of that more which is added to AMI for the to make a template? Because I understood that
I will
snapshot
show
plus
you
more.
once I show you, then you will see that how much more it is, because it is too much. See this more,
Okay,
whatever I'm saying, no. So that more, I'll show you hundreds of things actually, not one or two. That is called configuration. That is called just configuration.
Different types of criteria.
Yeah, you will see, then you will relate. Otherwise, if I say one or two things, it will not be full. It will not help you. So more means here configuration. Got it?
You will get different.
For now, you understand configuration. Okay. So AMI plus configuration. How you want to configure things and what all things are exposed, right? So earlier we used to have launch configuration. Okay. So now we have launch template, right? So now this is only used widely. Earlier we were using this launch configuration until a few months ago. Now we are using launch template, right? In place of this is I'm sure this will be gone very soon. So this has less features. This launch template has more features. So very soon this will be gone, I'm sure. So you'll hear someday, maybe after a few months or 6 months or something, that launch configuration is no more available. Now launch template only is available. So that will happen. So based on the trend that I have seen. Now, so what I mean to say here is, why I told fault tolerant is whatever unhealthy instance was there, right? So that is getting replaced by healthy instance, correct? So what I say that how that healthy instance will come, that will come from launch configuration. From where? Launch configuration or launch template. Understood? So now we are not using this. We will use this one, launch template. So from launch template, this good thing will come. So you need to understand that what all things are needed to get this instance. That is only apart from the AMI. Only AMI will not automatically, only AMI you don't want, right? Apart from that, few more settings you may be looking for, right? So that settings, whatever configuration, additional configurations are there, so that will be mentioned there. We will be creating this launch template very soon. But I think next lab would be that one. Okay, so so that's why I told that it is fault tolerant, because as and when there is some issue, it is getting created, right? And it will not lie like that. Some other things will be there in place already, right? And apart from that, this new things will come and it will be running in multiple availability zones. So I say that it is fault tolerant, right? So application will be available, application will be highly available, right? And if anything wrong happens with any of the instances, it will be replaced by the good instance, right? So that means no, with little bit of time or something. So with that, meanwhile the system is available, and then again it will restore the original thing, right? So that is the benefit, right? So and now when it is, say, like you are having two resources serving all the requests, and now more requests come, right? Then you may require two more instances, right? So that is also possible. So that is what is scaling out based on the workload. Now it can do the scaling in also based on the configuration, right? So what you are looking for, how you, when you are doing this scaling part, then is it saving some money? Cost efficient, right? Scaling in, saving money, right?
Yep.
So here it is increasing the performance by increasing the number of instances. Here it is saving cost by doing the scaling in, right? So scaling in and scaling out, both are useful here, right? In case of auto scaling, it is supporting us for both the things, right? So fee will be there, whatever EC2, if you are scaling out, so whatever no additional instances are there, so accordingly you have to pay for it, right? So what happens with this auto scaling, right, is you will create a launch configuration or launch template that I told, right? So just think of it as a launch template as of now. Okay, now you just first step, you create it, right? What will happen? Instance will be launched, right? Instance will be launched. From where it will be launched? From the template, correct? No, from the template it will be launched. You can launch manually, correct? You can launch based on that. What? Automatic? Auto scaling thing? From launch template, you can manually launch the instance if you wish, as many as you wish. Simply, you remember Buddha, when you are choosing AMI,
Yep.
how many steps you have to do, you remember, no? And then you review, and then you click some button, and then you will get your instance, right? You have to do certain things, right?
Yep.
See, you chose Red Hat, and then you reached to that instance, running instance you got. In between, you did a lot of things, right? So, do you want to do that every time your system, one system is getting bad? No, right? No, you're not speaking.
We want to shorten that manual steps also. It should automatically launch.
Don't want to do this.
We don't want to do this, right?
So
Take
this AMI plus whatever we were doing manually, that will be there in this launch template. Understood?
Okay.
That's it. So you don't want to do something, somebody else has to do that.
So basically, it's a script of which consists of all the additional configurations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the
So
configurations.
it can be any kind of a script in normal term. I mean, not
Yeah.
as per AWS, but if I'm planning to do some configurations which can be automated, then I can
Yep.
write a script,
Yep.
which can be then added to the AMI, which will form a template.
Yep. So just like that, you understand that whatever, this is the step, how you are doing some in script, you are writing some steps, right? So
Yeah.
kind of all those things, and then you need to run it, right? So like that, this template is there, that template will be run. That's it. That launch button you are creating, in place of that, that CloudWatch alarm will come, and that will create that, configure that button, and then that's it. It will launch template, right? So like that, you have to understand that how this launch template works. So let's go to that AWS console, everyone. Right. Where do we go from here? Tell me what we are talking about. EC2 only, right?
Auto scaling. Auto scaling.
Auto scaling. So auto scaling should be where?
inside EC2.
EC2.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll go to EC2, right? And we'll look for what? Auto scaling. You see auto scaling is there,
You will
right?
get it just, yes. Yeah.
Now below that auto scaling, you see launch configuration mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
And then you have auto scaling groups also, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now if you just come up below this instance types, do you see launch templates?
Right.
Yes.
Right. So now I will be explaining you this launch template. I'll be showing you this launch template because this is much more than this launch configuration. Okay, much more than that. All better new features, everything is there. So this is, you consider smaller thing. Now, once you take a look at this launch template, later, whenever you wish, you just click this. You will, by clicking, you will understand what it is. So I'm not taking that. I'm just going to this launch template, right? Click on that launch template. EC2 launch template. What it is?
So there is an option to create launch template.
Yeah.
Templates, benefits and features.
Rest all this documentation.
Use launch template to automate instance launches, simplify permission policies, enforce best practices across your organization, save launch parameters in a template that can be used for an on-demand launches and with managed services, including EC2 auto scaling and EC2 fleet. Easily update your launch parameters by creating a new launch template version. So here, this is what initially it was not supported by launch template. So slowly they made it so much useful, and now EC2 started supporting this, right? So if you just click on create launch template, it says give us a name. All of you please do this hands on. Want to do that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Please do that. Give some name. My template.
My template 1.
Okay. My template 1. Template version description. Use for. We'll be using for auto scaling.
Hands-on.
Auto scaling we'll be using.
The scaling. Yeah.
Yeah. So there can be a number of purposes. So we will be using this for auto scaling. Now, auto scaling guidance, provide guidance to help me set up a template that I can use with EC2 auto scaling. Now you see something will happen. I'll click it and you see something happened here. Now I
It's
remove
required.
it. Now it doesn't say it is required. Now as soon as I click it, it says it is required, right?
Yeah.
That is what I wanted to tell. Now, as soon as you want to use this with auto scaling, AMI is required. Without AMI, how can someone launch an EC2 instance, right? So that is what auto scaling is going to do here. Going to launch EC2 instance. For that, AMI is something basic, right? And apart from
Yes, it
that,
is associated with AMI.
yeah, so you need to mention some AMI here. Do you all have some AMI?
Yeah. You can select that Red Hat Linux.
Whatever we are having, we'll choose ours.
Okay.
Because see, our website is running, right? Correct,
So
no?
that is the one. Yeah. Linux 8.
So, not this is the one. This is Red Hat one. This is not ours.
It's a different things. No, it's a types. Different
Ours
types is
should
there,
be
right?
that.
My AMIs inside my AMIs, I think.
I think we can take a fresh one. RHEL should be there, no? See, Linux. My AMI there,
It's
right?
my AMIs. Yeah.
My AMI, right? So under
Which we
that
have
my
created.
AMI, just look for my AMI because this is marketplace and all. Just look for my AMI. Below that, you should have your AMI. See, mine is Linux Apache.
So I exactly got the same EMI, Harish, which I have created last time for my RHA.
Linux
For my
Apache
instance.
only. Everyone are having it.
Yeah, that one only.
No, was this done last week?
Inside
So
that,
If you have deleted, then it might not be there. So what we can do?
I don't have it.
Okay, let me
it
guide you.
is exactly the same which I have created for my instance last time.
Okay, great. So you see this AMI, right? So this AMI, Linux Apache, right? So this one I am having. I'll just disconnect from here, right? And I will just take I'll tell you how to make a you go to that instance and you can just here you can select it. You can go to action.
Select first this, yeah.
And Buddha, you can go there and you can go to image and create image. You can do this one.
Okay.
So you can just give name, right? So same thing like Linux Apache. Right? You can see that.
Okay.
So like that, you just create one quickly. It will not take much time.
Okay, I'm doing it now.
Okay. So just say Linux Apache, right? Don't choose this option, right? Now, let that be only root volume. Don't take this EBS. This will be additional. Now, just say create image, right? So,
no reboot. We leave it, right?
Yeah, just leave it. Otherwise, it won't be good.
Okay.
Yeah. So just leave it as it is now. That will get created, right? So you will have one AMI getting created here. I have one, this one. So
yeah, right.
So I'm just creating Linux-Apache. So that is getting created. So it is pending as of now. You'll see that very soon it will be available. It'll take some time, maybe a minute. Everyone, you got one AMI? You see that
yes,
it is. So I have this one.
Already one, so I'm not creating now.
Okay, good. So Linux-Apache, right? So I got that Linux-Apache, right? And Linux Apache, another one I also am having, right? So I have two AMIs. So I will have them visible here. I just go to my AMI, or I search for that Linux.
And search Apache.
Right? See that Linux Apache came. Now that Linux -Apache. Linux-Apache. So that also came, right? So whatever AMIs I will create, that will be visible here. Got it? So I have chosen my AMI. What AMI I want that auto scaling to use, right? So this is not needed template tag.
Yeah.
You can mention some template tag, right? So I'll just mention, say like, yeah, name tag only I'll give. I'll give what template name I'll say. I'll say Linux something like that. Linux template 1 or Apache template 1 or something. Linux-Apache template 1. So you can give whatever name you wish. Now just give some name so that we can identify it easily, right? So this is okay. So not needed. Just come down, AMI you have chosen. Now you see instance type, don't include in launch template. Do you want to mention the type, whatever you were doing right after choosing AMI, all those things you want, right? So here you have chosen that AMI as required one. Here, which one should be free of cost for us? T2 micro only, right? Free tier.
Yeah.
So let's choose this free tier. Okay. Now I have key pair login, right? So I can choose this also because I don't want, I want to access whatever system is getting created. So I also want that key pair public key to be copied there in under .ssh directory of my root user, right? So EC2 user. So Linux-kp2, this is something which is my key pair name that also I have chosen. Now network settings, you see, networking platform, virtual private cloud or EC2 classic. So
sorry, Harish, how did you select that key pair, Linux?
Key pair is I am having, I remember the name of my key pair. I have multiple windows.
So can we select any one of that? Because I'm also getting that list, but I
You
don't
should
remember
have access to that key pair, otherwise you can't log into your server.
Right.
So you remember using which key pair you have connected to the existing instance?
Okay, all right. I think, yeah, I remember the last one probably, KP1. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so just choose that one, right? You should have that private key with you. That's it. That's the main part, right? Now you have the private key, then you have this one. Now you have option launch into virtual network in your own logically isolated area in your VPC, right? Or launch into a single flat network that you share with other customers. So that is not here. We will be launching within our VPC. Security group. Specify a security group. We had some security group for our EC2 instance, which is existing. I'm thinking it should be Linux-SG for me. But you all may be different, Wizard or something you are choosing sometimes.
Yeah.
So choose the same security group, probably, where you have SSH access using no, the same key or something, port 22, wherever it is allowed. So here port 22 is allowed in Linux-SG, I remember it. So this is the Linux SG, that is my, how I access my existing instance, right? So choose this one. Now you see storage volume. How while doing that from AMI or launching instance, it is asking, right? You remember?
Yeah.
Additional storage it asks, no? Add a storage. Correct. Like that. Same thing it is asking again. So do you want additional? No, right? So this is something 10 GB is enough, that EBS volume, whatever is there. So that is important, that is needed. basic thing, right, for our instance to run, right? Now some kind of resource tag, right? So not needed. Interface additional, nothing, not needed. Advanced details, purchasing options, pod instances, AMI instance profile, shutdown behavior, stop. So that's what I was telling. See, these are the other than, see, AMI is there, right? One aspect, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, do you see how many other things?
Understood.
That's what I was telling. So AMI plus lot of other information which is required for launching your instance without your intervention, right? It should run simply, that's it. So that should happen automatically. Lot of options, you see, request, spot instances, IAM. This is like you have to bid, right? You have to give some price and then you can bid
So,
for.
but auto scaling, if we get this, template saved and all, every time a new instance is launched, it will be launched through auto scaling, which will have all the configuration, which might be organization specific or your own, need. However, that's what I'm understanding. However, if there is an EC2 instance which has, got crashed, or I want to recover, at that point of
Shweta,
time, yeah.
Shweta, shall we launch, shall we take this template and relate it with auto scaling and launch it and then take
Yeah,
up that?
that would be good, because I'm just trying to understand in scenarios where there is already additional snapshots and all. In
Understand
that,
that that is a different scenario, right? We will be deviated from what we are doing.
okay, sir. Okay.
So just note it down, right? We
Mhm.
can address it, right? Because otherwise this flow will be, changed. Okay, so here first thing is to understand that in the normal scenario, right, when we have the instance, right, and your instance has crashed and you want to replace it, your load balancer has notified the auto scaling, right, and then the auto scaling is trying to launch a fresh instance using this template. So using this template, auto scaling, right, group should be associated, then only it will happen, right? So first thing is to configure this template, right, and then configure auto scaling so that it will be useful to us, right? So you see a lot of other options, RAM, disk ID, tenancy, this, that, lot of other options are there. User data is there, some additional commands if you want, right? You can put here, right? You can go through this. So you can mention other options. Simply just click on create launch template as of now. You clicked it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you see next steps it is telling you need to launch instance from this template, or you can create auto scaling group from this template, or you can create spot fleet from this template, right? So various options it is giving. Using this template, what all things you can do, that it is telling, right? Now you want to create auto scaling group, right? Correct?
Yeah.
So just leave this screen here, just go to the another tab. There you just see, where is that template, that option, launch template. See this template came, no?
Okay.
Now if you just select this template, right, and by selecting this template you go to action menu and you see option launch instance from template, right? Correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So you can launch instance from this template, right? By clicking it will happen. Modify template, create new version of this template, delete template version, set default version, manage, create spot fleet, create auto scaling group. You see this option, create auto scaling group. If you click on this, what will happen? It will take you to some screen for creating the launch template or configuration. It is giving you option. I had told you, right? Two options are there. Here, if you just click on this create auto scaling group in the previous one, you just click on this, right? You get this screen. If you just click there, you get this screen. Both are same, right? You see? Correct?
Same page.
Same, right?
Right, right.
So
Yeah, it's same page.
this is what I was telling, right? So this is how it is. You can simply say view launch template without doing anything. You will come here. You can select the template. You can go to action. You can create auto scaling group, or now you have this auto scaling group. You can come to this place, auto scaling group. Here you just try to click on create an auto scaling group, and here you can give some name, and then here you can go and choose that my template, right? It is one and the same, right? Same screen, right? Do you find anything different? No, right?
No,
So
it is same.
the various places, various ways of accessing something, right? So now I know that Rahul will access from somewhere else. Rahul will find some fourth option only, right, Rahul?
Yeah.
Usually what I do, I just go to launch template, because whatever template I have created, right? Now I just select it, I go to action, I just choose create auto scaling group from my template, right? So I go to template, from there I begin. So here simply what I can do, I can give some name, right? It will take few more minutes to launch this template, right? So are we okay for that?
Yeah, we can go for it.
Anybody? Any issue?
No, no, no. Just launch this and then close it.
Okay. Okay.
So just do
So
it.
okay, just give some name. AS, right? Auto scaling group 1. Okay. Just see, template is chosen by default. You know why? Because I started with my template itself, right? So at least this much is the benefit I should get. By default, it is selected. If you switch to launch configuration, what will happen? Now it will ask for
It has to
launch
launch.
configuration, which is not there. I have not created. I had shown you in the bottom there is launch configuration, right? So it will have similar options to put some values, and then it will, you can choose that launch configuration.
You will get extra features in
This one. Yeah. What we are getting is
launch template.
extra launch template. We are having extra features.
Extra features.
So I'm having, yeah. So I'm having this my template, right? So you just see version is default 1, my template 1, T2 micro, request spot, no, this, some AMI, key pair, everything is there. Click on next, right? Adhere to launch template. I don't want to combine anything here, right? I want some kind of, you see, network. What is there in that?
VPC default.
VPC and all these things.
So some VPC there.
Subnets also there.
Subnet is there. So some options are there, right? Like 1B is there, right? You want 1B, 1A, right? Whatever things you want, you can choose. Correct? So you choose that subnets, right? So multiple zones you are having. In these two only we are launching our instances, and we are having load balancer also configured for this, right? So these two should be good, right? Now I say next. You see, load balancing is optional here. If I enable my load balancing, right? You see application load balancer or network load balancer or classic one. So I say application load balancer. It's asked for choose a target group for your load balancer. You remember we had created one load balancer.
Correct.
Target group TG1 HTTP. Now that is going to be useful here. Here it says health check is optional. Health check grace period is something 300 seconds. Should be okay. Additional settings enable group metrics collection within CloudWatch. So this is also free only. That's not chargeable. You can choose that option also. So nothing wrong. You say next. What I was telling, desired minimum, maximum, you remember?
Yeah.
So you can also specify minimum and maximum capacity. Desired capacity must be within the limit range. So desired, you have option to select that desired. You can leave that desired, right? You can minimum, you can say like, I want minimum of 2 instances and maximum of say like 4 instances, right? You say I want minimum of 4 instances and maximum of 8 instances. You can choose, right? So you can simply change it. I want maximum, say like I want minimum 3. I want maximum say like 5. Okay, let me choose like that. So choose whether to use a scaling policy to dynamically resize your auto scaling group to meet changes in demand. So let it be no policy as of now. Instance scale in protection. So what is this protection? Tell me. Scale in protection. So once it becomes 5, it should not come down to below. Got it?
Yeah.
So there may be some use case where it should scale up, but it should not go down again. So maybe due to some application requirement, or maybe due to something you don't want it to scale in manual automatically. You want to do some intervention. You want to look at it, and then you want to scale it down. So you don't want to scale in, right? So in that case, it will not scale in. If you just say enable scale in protection, then it will not scale in. So you just don't choose that, not needed. You just say next. Must be between minimum and maximum. So desired capacity is asking to keep between these two, right? Now what? It should be central somewhere. So
4.
what I can do, I can make it 3 only. Got my point?
Okay.
I will make it 3 only. So let it begin with 3, right? And then let it go up to 5 only. So I'll keep like that, and I say next, it will accept. Okay. Now what? Add notifications. Send SNS topic whenever EC2 auto scaling launches or terminates the EC2 instance in your auto scaling group. So there is option for adding notification. So we don't have any SNS topic. So we can create a topic. I can simply say that auto SNS topic, right? Something, some name you give. Some you just say like email at abc.com. So some email ID simply you just put. Event types: launch, terminate, fail to launch, fail to terminate. Whatever happens, that email should go to this particular email address. Okay. So this is something SNS where you just have to put some, configure some values where it will be sending the notification. So just say next. Add tags. You want to add some tag, right? You can add some tag. You can add tags to help you search, filter, track your auto scaling group across AWS. You can also choose automatically add these tags to instances when they are launched. So let it be like that. So it doesn't matter. I'll just leave it now. I'll just say next. Review. Just look at it. AP South 1A, 1B, additional settings, scaling policies, add notifications, right? All those things are configured, right? And I say create auto scaling group. Now, what has happened is it has created a topic, SNS topic. It has created the scaling group as well, right? So I'll just remove all these notifications. You just see this auto scaling group. It's updating the capacity. Meanwhile, I'll go to EC2 dashboard here, and I have my running instances here. You saw something happening here.
Initializing.
Yeah.
What's going on? Just see. Something happening, right? I have not done anything.
Right.
So
Starts.
see, you see 3 are getting launched. Correct,
Okay.
no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Now minimum is 3 I have told, right?
Maximum
And
5.
maximum 5 I have told. So I based on the uses, it will be ranging right from 3 to 5. So it is happening. It's just trying to initialize it. So it will maintain, it has to maintain the minimum balance, right? So because of that, it is creating as of now, right? Again, based on the workload or something, it will increase, or if any problem is happening, if any, if I delete any particular instance or something, or whatever I do, right? In that case, it will try to add more, right?
So Harish,
Yeah.
for the tag, if I don't give a tag, it will not allow me to create uh,
Tag,
this instance, right?
tag is like, why? Tag is
It
simple.
is not
No?
allowing me.
No, I didn't give tag.
So tag key cannot be empty. That's what I'm getting.
Oh,
As a
name
add
name of
tags, yeah,
that
So
template,
you have
name
to
of
remove,
that
yeah,
you have to remove
auto
this.
scaling group.
correct.
I
So is
just
it needed?
missed it. Like I can't relate to which location you are, where I have given tag.
So yeah, I am in this step 6, which
Okay,
says
okay.
add
Let me
tag.
come back here. Yeah, yeah. So here you tell me where is my tag in this one. This name you are talking about. This you have given,
No,
right?
auto ASR, yeah, AS group 1 I have given.
Yeah. What else? Other tag I have not given. You see? See,
I
no
No, so
know.
tag.
I think no. I think you have selected tag, then but you are not putting a name. So
Oh, I think you have selected and you are not saving it or something.
yeah, so you just delete that tag.
Delete it. Then I think you can move forward.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So not necessary. So now you see it has no initialized, right? And all 2 by 2 checks, everything he has passed, right? So no, this is the original one, and 3 more have come, right? So I'll just say one. I'll go and say instance state. I'll say terminate.
So if the volumes will be increased, Harish, right? 30, 30, 30, and sorry, 10, 10, 10 GB, right? That for one instance.
Yeah,
So it
some
becomes 40. So
some
it will be
cost.
now, yeah,
Yeah, some cost will be there. It's okay. We'll see.
it's better to terminate.
Hmm?
It's better to terminate the rest three, except the original one.
No, that it will create. You terminate, no?
No, that I'm not asking that. I'm asking, I got it that one, but as per like we can keep maximum 30 GB in free time, right? So it is
After
already,
this end of this session, we'll delete everything.
because now it's a chargeable because you have created more than 30 GB, right? So it's
So little bit charge only, bro. Little bit.
that's what I'm
No worries.
that's what I'm telling.
Yeah. So terminate instance.
Harish,
Yeah.
there is some issue. I have got the auto scaling groups created,
Mhm.
but then in my EC2 instance, it is not showing me anything.
Okay, you just see what is happening. I am deleting it and it's creating it. You saw it.
Right.
You noticed anybody?
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's initializing.
terminated and then it initialized. You just see.
Yeah. It's,
Now one more will come. You see.
You have selected minimum 3, so every time there will be, you are in a vicious.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to show you. Now this is something which I'm doing manually, right? Now you have the option to do it in certain situations, right? Whatever situations you just want, right? So in that situation, you can just do a configuration where you can mention that monitoring metrics were there, no CloudWatch, remember? In that CloudWatch, you saw some 90% I was choosing, alarm I was creating.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
just recall there, right? I can again take you there tomorrow if you wish. So now you understand that I was, we were there and there was an option to mention that CPU percentage utilization, something more than this, like that. So if you put some condition and if you say that this was the condition at that point of time, whenever my CPU percentage goes to say like more than 90%, you add 100% of my instances. So whatever is the number of instances, that many instances will be added. If you just configure it like I have my whatever is the number of instance they are running, whenever my CPU utilization goes below 50%, it should be reduced by 50%, or it should reduce by 100%. Remove the 50% of my instances. So you can just, based on the percentage, based on certain requirement, at what point of time, at what CPU utilization what action you want, that you can specify, and you can control using the CloudWatch, right? And this auto scaling, right? So automatically, what it will do, as soon as the CPU percentage goes higher, it will create one more instance for you, right? So like that it will create, or it will create 3 more instances for you. If you have 3 instances running, it will create 3 more instances for you. So you can just play around with that, right? Different conditions, different situations, right? Yeah.
Also, Harish, if you decrease the number of servers in auto scaling group,
Yep.
it will automatically delete from here.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I just tried that.
Oh,
It
okay.
is to 1. It deleted automatically. I have 2 now.
Okay, that's good. So in that auto scaling group, one thing I wanted to tell, that when you are selecting that auto scaling group, right, you should have more features with that, right? So
Using the auto scaling feature itself is not chargeable.
that's
Is
right.
it?
That's right. That's right. So EC2 instances, you are running so many, right?
That will take the cost of everything.
Volumes, you see, I got 5, right? Those things they will take right money from these many volumes, right? So whatever instances will be there, so for that they will be charging, right? For whatever so this auto scaling group, if you go, just try to explore some more
Just
features.
understanding, so scaling scaling in and out horizontal should be done when there is hardware failure sort of thing, and scaling up and down is where there is compute capacity sort of thing, right?
See, scaling up and scaling down is a feature of vertical scaling.
Huh?
Now,
So
vertical scaling means you have one server which is having 5 CPUs and 5 GB of RAM. Now you want that same server to have 10 CPUs and 10 GB of RAM. That server only,
Yes.
only one server. Now your application is not supporting multiple instances. Your application can run, right, on only one server, right? It's not possible for your application to span and work together running on 10 servers. So what will you do? Now you have to do vertical scaling. You have to increase the CPU and RAM only, right?
Yes.
So that will be scaling up. If you are increasing the number of CPUs or RAM, that will be scaling up. If you are decreasing it, it will be scaling down. Now, when it comes to scaling in and scaling out, when your utilization, say like utilization of your resources, right? I'll just explain, give me a moment, right? So say like you have, so your question is with respect to only horizontal scaling or vertical scaling?
No, I'm saying both the things are catered through auto scaling.
You are not getting then. Auto scaling is dealing with what?
Only instances, I mean only
Horizontal scaling.
Only horizontal scaling.
Yes.
Okay.
This horizontal scaling is scaling up and scaling down, right?
Horizontal scaling in and out, right?
Scaling, yes, I'm really sorry. Now you are at the right level.
नहीं, but scaling up and scaling down करना होगा तो what feature to use?
We have done now. You just look for the recording for the EC2.
Acha, bursts and all. Okay, fine.
See, we increase that CPU, we increase the size of the instance, we increase the EBS volume scaled up, lot of things we have done.
Yes, remember.
That was vertical scaling. Same server, you added more resources.
समझ गई, sir. Got it. I was just confused with something.
No
That's
problem,
why.
no problem. These are really confusing. Like, no, this batch is like far better than some other batches where I had to explain this at least 10 times, right? And here I can see that you all have a better understanding of this scaling out and in and up and down also. So that's why I initially I told once or twice, and then I think you have picked it up. So, but it is really confusing, right? So scaling out, stretching out, right? 2 machines to 3 machines to 4 machines to 5 machines. Scaling in, right? Number of machines were more, now got stretched. Now you got compressed, and now it became less, right? So inside, so that will be less, decreasing.
Comes under horizontal scaling.
Yeah, this all horizontal
Comes
scaling.
under horizontal scaling.
Yeah. So now say like, now the condition is CPU is greater than 90%. Okay. Now you have an alarm set, right? Where? In the CloudWatch.
Yes.
Now here, whenever it is more than that, right, it will be, there will be scaling policy. In that scaling policy, you can say that, right, in order to meet the demand, right, whenever this comes, in order to meet the demand, right, you add 100%. So that is my policy. I will define the policy, right? So what will happen? Initially, I had my 2 EC2 instances. Because of this addition of 100%, 2 more came. So these 2 are new. Now 2 more came. Now what happens? I have another policy, another alarm, right, in that CloudWatch, right? What is that? That is, whenever CPU goes below 50%, right, for 10 minutes, for more than 10 minutes, if my CPU is more than 50%, then you remove 50%. That is my policy. Okay, this is my scaling policy. Now what will happen? Tell me. These 2 will be gone. Got it? So that this is scaling in, and that was scaling out. So this is what you have to understand, right? So fine. So we are good for now, right? I am sure that you have a lot of questions and lot of things in your mind, right? And lot of doubts, right? Lot of confusion. So that is the beginning of understanding process, right? When you have too many things, first thing is to get confused, right? And then you will recollect everything.